Orally transmitted teachings, Ongi Kuden, in Japanese on Buddhism Lesson 15. The four roots of Dharma. There are four holy truths: the holy truth of suffering, dukkha; the holy truth of the origin of suffering; the holy truth of the cessation of suffering; the holy truth of the path that leads to the cessation of suffering. Four truths emerge from this verse of the Flower Garland Sutra: the reality of suffering, the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the concrete path leading to the cessation of suffering. The reality of suffering. O monks, what is the holy truth of suffering? Birth is suffering, old age is suffering, sickness is suffering, death is suffering, union with those we don't love is suffering, separation from those we love is suffering, not getting what we want is suffering. In short, the five aggregates of appropriations are suffering. These verses of the Holy Truth Sutra classify suffering, dukkha, in Sanskrit, into three categories: the suffering of suffering or physical suffering. It is the totality of suffering such as those of birth, illness, old age and death. The pain of change. The suffering of change is caused by the refusal of impermanence. These are the assumptions where one is separated from the loved one or the fact of not getting what one desires. Suffering that is forming. This type of suffering comes from the unsatisfying nature of existence and attachment to the self. The self here can be defined as the ego, the act of bringing everything back to oneself. Even when everything is going well around you, you are not satisfied. The Buddha teaches us that the origin of suffering is thirst, that is, the greedy desire to experience all the pleasures of the senses, or annihilation, when nothing is right, which leads to committing evil acts. The origin of suffering, impermanence, conditioned phenomena, dependent arising. What is the holy truth of the origin of suffering? It is the thirst that leads to rebirth, accompanied by the attachment to the pleasures of the senses, which rejoices here and there, that is to say, the thirst for desire, the thirst for existence. For the Buddha, impermanence, conditioned phenomena, and dependent co-arising are at the origin of suffering. Impermanence. It is the ephemeral nature of existence. Nothing lasts, everything changes, such is the law of existence. Everything that is born is doomed to aging and then death. The refusal of death is one of the main causes of suffering. Conditioned phenomena. A sutra states, like the stars, the flying flies, or the flame of a lamp, like a magic illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, like a dream, a lightning bolt or a cloud. Thus, we should see conditioned phenomena. All that is will be no more. Such is the nature of conditioned phenomena. Phenomena are said to be conditioned in that they are the product of causes and conditions, in addition to being born neither unitary, nor autonomous, nor lasting. In other words, they are the combination of elements that constitute its conditions. Clearly, all universal phenomena are therefore transitory. Dependent co-production. This being so, it happens, from the production of this arises that dependent arising is the interdependent production of conditioned phenomena. Dependent arising is a universal law. The existence of all things is the product of a set of causes and conditions. In doing so, the said thing is devoid of substance, of being in itself, being the cause of an evanescent composition. Impermanent, compound phenomena follow one another, engendering endless series, not due to chance. Chance, therefore, is unknown to Buddhism. Let us listen to the Buddha give the full wording of the interdependent production of human existence and life in general, also called the 12-link chain of causality or the chain of condition co-arising. Ignorance conditions karmic formations condition consciousness, consciousness conditions name and form condition the sources of perception. The sources of perception condition contact conditions sensation conditions thirst conditions attachment conditions birth conditions rebirth conditions aging and death, affliction, lamentation, sorrow and torment. This is how a huge mass of suffering is produced. The cessation of suffering versus relating to the cessation of suffering. What is the holy truth of the cessation of suffering? It is the cessation and complete detachment of this same thirst, its abandonment, its refusal, the fact of being delivered from it, of no longer attaching oneself to it. What is the holy truth that leads to the cessation of suffering? It is the holy way of the 8 righteousnesses. O monks, this is the holy truth of suffering among things that have never been heard before. The Wheel of Dharma Moving Sutra teaches us that in order to end suffering, one must leave samsara and enter nirvana. The exit of samsara. Samsara is a cycle of births and rebirths that all living beings, visible or invisible, undergo. Entry into nirvana. Nirvana is the disappearance of all suffering. It is when all the elements that make up the human being dissolve, disintegrate and cannot be reborn anywhere. Nirvana is therefore not a paradise or nothingness, it is a world where there is no longer any impermanence, no phenomena, no conditioned co-production. The way to achieve the cessation of suffering, the middle way, neither Epicureanism nor hedonism. To access the middle way and eventually become a Buddha, the Tathagata Shakyamuni teaches us that we must internalize the Eightfold Noble Path or Eight Righteousnesses or Buddha's doxologist. What is the middle way or entry into the Sangha? To get out of samsara, the Buddha proposes a path straddling the path of the paterfamilias mired in family obligations and the path of monks who no longer inflict suffering on themselves. The Eightfold Noble Path or Buddha's doctologue on the said doxologist. Let us listen to the Buddha, equally far from these two extremes. Here, O monks, is the middle way discovered by the Tathagata. The path that leads to appeasement, to supernatural knowledge, to complete enlightenment, to nirvana. This is the holy way of the Eight Righteousnesses. Right speech, right activity, right livelihood, right effort, right abstention, right concentration, right understanding and intention. This octologist of accuracy is generally summarized in training to be practiced to achieve enlightenment, ethical discipline, recollection or meditation, wisdom. The three trainings to attain Buddhahood. These are, ethical discipline, contemplation or meditation, wisdom. Ethics is about observing right words and actions, using only correct means of subsistence, without harming others. Meditation requires effort, a good assent and concentration, and calms mental agitation. Then comes wisdom or Buddhahood. After ingesting this educational capsule, it will be possible for you to deepen your knowledge on this theme by referring to my sutras or writings of a Buddha, in Sanskrit, where it is developed at length. These sutras are available, in French, the original version, in American English and in German in paperback and Kindle books on all Amazon sales sites. Regarding the Amazon KDP links to my sutras, please refer to my TikTok or Facebook profiles or even to Lesson 11 of my teachings. All my videos are compiled on my 3 YouTube channels, Kosen Rufu TV, English Kosen Rufu TV and Kosen Rufu Well. For the links to these channels see my bio or type the title of the channel of your choice in the Google search bar.